Spring training is in full swing. Hey, the Pirates even made a couple of moves. Not a free agent signing quite yet, though. I guess we'll stay tuned for that. I'm Lance Lysowski. You are listening to The Pirates Show, and joining me today is DK.
You know, you said
you like that one?
Not quite in free agency. How about a big fat zero? That's what we're looking at right now. The Pirates have not spent literally
$1, not even $1.
No, not even a penny, because that's actually that's the denominations you have to get down to when you're talking about this organization anymore. You know, they did go out and make the move for Corey Dickerson, the outfielder who's going to be apparently
starting left fielder.
Starting left fielder, I guess, to some extent. There's no question in my mind that they're going to work Adam Frazier out there. They're going to work other guys into the mix. But in fairness, that's a move. That's something. They also cleared
$5.5 million of Daniel Hudson, which
is basically.
I didn't even think he was going to. He had a chance of not even making the opening day roster, to be honest with you.
Which is basically. I mean, he shouldn't have.
No, he
shouldn't have. We saw him pitch. He shouldn't have been signed in the first place. That's one of those terrible signings that, by the way, nobody talks about. Everybody fusses over little stuff and whatever, stuff that they can point specifically at the owner.
Yeah, and you look at $5.5 million. That's 2 years.
Times two, yeah.
That's $11 million total. Look at what Tony Watson just got from the Giants, which, of course, the Giants wouldn't have been able to sign Watson technically if the Pirates didn't give them $2.5 million in the McCutchen trade, but we won't go there.
Yeah, so what about actual baseball here? Let's start, because we could do this forever. This is just red meat material here. We're going to get into a little bit of baseball talk here.
Yeah, no, it's obviously you take these spring training games with a grain of salt, but there's a lot of intriguing guys, that are in camp right now. All whether it be young guys who played in AAA or AA last season, or returners.
Yeah, and there's no question that somehow someone will emerge from that pack as a surprise. It doesn't have to be a Freddie Garcia, Mark Johnson, Craig Monroe level of surprise where they just, whoa, this guy is the greatest player ever because he's hitting a bunch of Grapefruit League home runs at Windy Bradenton. But there are guys whose performance does step up. The guy last year, I thought, who more than anybody rose up was Jose Osuna.
Yeah.
He forced his way onto that roster.
No, but none of these people who made those prospect rankings talked about Jose Osuna coming into last year.
That's because he came from the Latin American system, and the Pirates didn't pump him up because they're trying to pump up their draft guys. But I digress.
And Osuna, I think, is a guy who's going to have another strong spring. What they do with him is going to be the question, because he doesn't really have a position right now, because they're going to stick Colin Moran at third base and hope for the best, and David Freese is going to be that bench bat who plays third and first. So. But the guy, okay, let's talk. If we're going to talk baseball, let's start with a pitcher.
First. Go ahead.
I want to start with a pitcher, and I'm going to go with Nick Kingham. I know, highly ranked prospect, a guy that people forgot about, though, because of the Tommy John surgery, came back last year, finally reached AAA again. Now he's on the cusp of the major leagues, and nobody wants to talk about him because you're hearing names like Tyler Glasnow, Steven Brault, and Joe Musgrove. I think that Kingham is the guy who could emerge and actually be that viable starting pitcher.
Well, what's the status of his stuff right now, Lance? I mean,
he's still getting the velocity back. That's the one thing that hasn't crept back up. But
his velocity wasn't spectacular to begin with.
It wasn't anyways. He's a control guy.
Yeah.
He's a guy who's going to hit his spots, and he's hitting those spots right now. His breaking stuff's playing well. He's really shown that hasn't been impacted by the Tommy John. Now he's got to get that fastball back up to 94, 95 miles an hour. Because I think it's sitting around 91, 92. But I think with time, I think that his upside is definitely greater than what we talked about. Steven Brault and Glasnow, I think we need to rule him out as being an option to make this rotation at any point. I think he's a reliever at best at this point. And Musgrove, we'll see.
I don't see how Glasnow's. Where does that come from?
He's a two-pitch guy. I think
he's a zero-pitch guy if he can't throw strikes.
That's a good point. No, I'm not going to take.
I understand that you want to have him simplify his thought process or whatever spooks him when he goes to the mound, but I don't see that one at all. My surprise guy from the pitching standpoint, I would say, is going to be Edgar Santana. And this is a guy, Lance, who came up with not just good numbers, but great numbers in AAA.
Really good command. It's not just the command that he's got everything. He's got the stuff. He's got that fastball velocity. His slider is incredible. What he needs He needs another pitch. He needs that changeup. They've been trying to work with him on that. He actually worked a lot with A.J. Schugel, who, for all of his faults, has a really good changeup.
And a really bright guy.
Yeah, really bright guy.
Yeah.
And kind of took Edgar Santana under his wing at AAA last season. So that's the last piece. I think if Santana gets that changeup, he could be not only an eighth inning guy, I think he could be a future closer.
Yeah, and the thing that's always impressed me about Santana is the presence that he has on the mound. He's not freaked out by anything, to borrow from the Glass Now term again. Yeah. He goes out there with bad intentions, to borrow a Clint Hurdleism there. And especially at the minor league level, he was able to get the job done. The results weren't there when he came up in the majors last year. He also didn't get much of a chance. And really, everybody's got to get their feet wet at some time. At least he got some of that out of his system.
He just rose. And saying the word rose, I mean, he shot up through the minor leagues. And this is a guy who didn't sign until, he was 19 years old, I believe. And late bloomer.
Another Latin American guy that the Pirates didn't tout while they were trying to tout their draft guys to Baseball America. But I digress.
A great find. And, of course, with where this bullpen is, with Kyle Crick, I guess we can mention him. I think that at Santana, with Hudson gone, he's in this bullpen on opening day.
You would think so. When we come back,
Position players,
right here on DK Sports Radio.
Injured in an accident? Need assistance in preserving your business's interests? Let the attorneys at Bassey, Vreeland & Associates protect your legal rights. For over 65 years, Bassey, Vreeland & Associates has been representing the citizens and businesses of southwestern Pennsylvania. With offices strategically located in Washington and Charleroi, Bassey, Vreeland & Associates can deliver results for you throughout the Pittsburgh area. Visit www.bmvlaw.com or call 724-228-7000 to see how Bassey, Vreeland & Associates can meet your legal needs. Bassey, Vreeland & Associates. We fight, we care, we win.
It's time to cash in on non-stop sports action with MyBookie.ag. They have in-game live betting on nearly every sporting event, plus MyBookie.ag will match your deposit with a bonus up to 100%. With decades of expertise and no-hassle payouts, you'll experience the greatest customer service in the business, guaranteed. Use promo code DKRadio to activate your bonus of up to 100%. Call 844-900-BETS or visit mybookie.ag to open an account. Sign up today.
Miller Lite is the original light beer, and we'll always brew it to have more taste, with only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs. Because we believe that if you compromise on taste, you can taste the compromise. Miller Lite. Hold true.
Great beer, great responsibility. 2018 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Average analysis, 12 fluid ounces. Less than 1 gram protein, 0 grams fat.
What I want from my public accounting firm is big ideas.
But I don't want to lose the personal attention.
My company needs global capabilities.
From a firm with local ownership.
And I want to work with industry experts.
Who take the time to understand my unique challenges. And that's what sets Schneider Downs apart. Expertise for the most complex business issues. With the service you need every day. To learn how our big thinking with a personal focus can help your company, visit SchneiderDowns.com.
If you're one of the thousands of Western Pennsylvanians who love to get outdoors, then you need to check out this amazing new website, stepoutside.org. Hi, I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Sports Radio. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh. I know about the outdoor life that's available to all of us in Western Pennsylvania. Learn where, when, and how you can go camping, hiking, hunting, take part in power sports, shooting sports, water sports in your local community, across our region, across the country at stepoutside.org.
In Pittsburgh, we bleed black and gold and love our city. Born in Pittsburgh and now celebrating 130 years in business, Henny Jewelers is proud to be your premier jewelry store. Whether it's choosing that watch you've always wanted or you're searching for the ring that was made for her, trust Henny Jewelers. Visit our store on Walnut Street in Shadyside to see our extensive inventory of designer engagement rings, watches, and one-of-a-kind jewelry. For more, go to hennyjewelers.com and follow on social.
Embarrassed by that stained carpet in your office? Tired of looking at your dull, dirty floor? My Floor Needs is here to fix that. With years of experience and 24/7 service, My Floor Needs offers stripping and waxing, carpet, tile, grout, and concrete cleaning, as well as polishing and buffing services. Call 888-67-MY-FLOOR or email info@myfloorneeds.com for a free estimate and get your floors looking like new again. Whatever your floor needs, call 888-67-MY-FLOOR.
Does your company ever miss its sales goals or struggle getting new business?
Is it tough to hire or to give reps the right tools?
Hi, I'm Dan, and I started Engaged Prospect right here in Pittsburgh to help companies like yours.
And I'm Sam. We're helping companies hit sales goals and grow their businesses.
Think of us as your inside sales team.
Our clients are experts in their fields. We're experts in inside sales.
Give us a call today at 412-715-5151.
Or visit us online at engagedprospect.com/DK.
It's been 50 years since the Summer of Love, but if you're not performing as well as you'd like, check out NEDforless.com. I'm Eric Cushy of Curtis Pharmacy. Don't pay premium prices for the little blue pill. So Denafil, the same active ingredient as in Viagra, costs 80% less. NEDforless.com. All we need is your physician's name. We do the rest. Free shipping, too. NDDforless.com. Curtis Pharmacy, Western PA's Better Way Pharmacy. CurtisPharmacy.com.
Let's talk position players. Of course, this organization, they tout the pitching. We hear names like Glass now, and of course Stephen Brawl. But position players, interesting. There's a lot of that's where the veterans kind of are on this team, I would say, whether it be Jordy Mercer, Josh Harrison. So it's kind of harder to pick an under-the-radar guy going to camp.
Yeah, or a surprise.
Or a surprise,
yeah,
really.
because, like, just as an example, you couldn't look at Jordy Mercer and if he has a fine season say, hey, there's a surprise. I mean, he's just a very steady guy. And a lot of these guys have that track record that lends itself to being highly, and in a welcome way, predictable.
Exactly. And you look at what this team could do, whether it be guys who could be traded or potential injuries. So I'm going to look at in the minor leagues, but give me your answer to this question.
My guy is Elias Diaz, and it's not because I think he's going to supplant Francisco Cervelli. He's not. Cervelli is the highest paid player on the team. He's going to play. He's also one of the most passionate athletes I've been privileged to cover, both on and off the field. He is very, very, very good at what he does when he stays on the field, which he had done a pretty good job of in his Pittsburgh time right up until last season when a bunch of unfortunate things happened. That said, Diaz, at different points in the system, was told or had heard that, he's good at this, but he's not good at that. And the first thing that you heard, well, he can hit, he can't do this. Well, then he hit, and then it was that he can't control a pitching staff. Well, he really took control of the pitching staff in Indianapolis, as most of the current rotation guys will attest, since he was their catcher in Indianapolis. I like Diaz's chances for taking a big step forward as a strong, solid number two, not as the Sunday Keith Osick guy.
Yeah, and that's the one piece of it that people overlook, is that he's not your typical backup catcher. This guy, he has the personality. He has a lot of traits that Francisco Cervelli has in terms of being able to control that pitching staff, being able to work with them.
He calls the game.
No, and those guys respect him so much. He has a great relationship with them, and I'm ready to see it all come together for him, because the bat didn't play as well last year in the major leagues at times as you would have expected. He learned the whole part behind the plate. He's good at that now. So I think now it's time for him to take that step forward.
Yeah, and it's literally he has to get to the plate and get the job done.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's much more complicated than that. And again, he has done that in the minors, and he's shown at least glimpses of it in the major leagues. Who's your guy?
Mine's Kevin Kramer, another prospect.
Whoa,
I will say that
you're not even off the radar. You're like out of the solar system.
Well,
here.
when I'm talking position players, and I'm not going to step on your toes and pick Diaz.
All
What
right.
first baseman? I'm not going to pick Jose Osuna again. Kramer, second baseman, only limited to 53 games at AA Altoona last year because of a broken hand.
Drafted as a shortstop, I might add.
Exactly. Position flexibility. He's playing both in camp, and of course, there might be a need for a second baseman at some point this season, whether or not they keep Josh Harrison.
You're not feeling Max Moroff, are you?
Not feeling Max Moroff. I think Kevin Kramer is an actual baseball player. I think he's got pop. I think he's really good defensively. And I think this is when he takes a step forward because unlike Newman, who was a first-round pick and everybody kind of touted as being the future shortstop, I think it's Kramer has the most upside of all these infielders you hear coming up. I love Cole Tucker. I think Cole Tucker could be really good in a couple of years, but he's not even close to being ready in my opinion.
Oh, no, he's a child.
He's a child.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6'3". He looks like he's still –
He's growing into it.
He hasn't grown into his body yet,
right.
but I think he's got immense upside. But I think Kramer's the one who could really come up this year and make a big impact.
Now, I respect that, but the player that everybody wanted us to say is a great way to close the show, and that would be Austin Meadows. Can he bounce back after plummeting as he did on the Baseball America rankings?
The talent's there. I mean, you hear comparisons to Christian Yelich. You hear all these comparisons to all these great players in the major leagues. It's a matter of staying healthy. It's a matter of staying on the field because when you see him on the field, it can all come together. He's solid He's solid defensively. He has the tools. The pop is there. It just at some point you have to say, when is it going to happen or is it going to happen?
But I don't. I look at Meadows' career to date, and I don't see some star trajectory. Even when he's been out there, and I understand that he's been interrupted, and that has a real impact on a player in baseball, especially from the development standpoint. But I don't know that I've seen here comes the next guy.
And in my opinion, he's one of these guys who is part of a greater trend in baseball. Teams are elevating these draft picks way too quick up to the minor leagues. They get to a certain point, they hit adversity, and they don't know how to handle it because they're too young. I mean, they're facing, AAA pitching. I think that's what happened to Austin Meadows at the beginning of last year. He thought he was going to come up and replace Starling Marte. Well, nobody came up and told him, buddy, you're not ready yet.
Yeah, right.
You're 21 years old. Let's settle down a little bit.
And then when you get to AAA and you're a young guy, you are, for the first time in your professional baseball career, facing older pitchers. And by that I'm referring to the journeyman guys, the 30-year-olds who just hang around. And every team has them. The Pirates, of course, have had more than most because they have a very old team that they've had in Indianapolis. But I digress.
Drew Hutchinson?
I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Go ahead and finish this one, Lance.
All right. Well, hey, this is an interesting topic, and I think it's one that we will talk about at the end of spring training to kind of reflect on, okay, who do we pick?
Yes.
Who do we like going into the season? Because there's probably going to be a couple of surprises on this opening day roster, whether it be if Bryce Brentz makes it as the fourth outfielder or if Max Moroff
the best spring I ever saw anyone have. I just have to throw this in here. It wasn't any of those names that I mentioned there, the Mark Johnsons, the Freddie Garcia. They get cited by a lot of longtime Pirates fans. The best spring I ever saw anyone have was Ronnie Paulino. And it was after he had already been established. Lance, it is hard to describe how hard this man was hitting every single pitch he was thrown. I remember being up there in the press boxes with Jim Turdinich, the Pirates' longtime media relations guy, just going, watch this. Paulino's just going to murder this ball. He batted, you can look this up, 625
Jesus.
in grapefruit ball. And then you know what? He comes up north and just totally goes into the tank. Couldn't hit anything.
Reality hits.
Well, yeah, because it's and Ronnie was joking at the time. It's just because he's from the Dominican and is nice and warm down there, and he comes up here where it's cold. It makes my bat cold.
Well, that's it for this week. Let's do it again. DK is going down to Florida. I'll be following soon by. You're listening to the Pirates, so thanks again.